The rabbit listened. The rabbit listened, and Taylor was able to rage and plan, remember, and plot. And I am glad that Taylor got what Taylor needed. But I identify with the other animals. I can just imagine the chicken being like, I told you talking about it would help. And the snake saying, see, it's fun to plot. Don't you feel better? All these animals saying, look, my idea worked. If only you would have listened to me. Partially because we want to be right, but also because watching someone be sad hurts. The other animals see their friend in pain, and they want to fix it. And to not be able to hurts. Not being able to help someone you care about. Not being able to get them to see the very obvious solution to their problems. Those of you who have perhaps parented a teenager, worked with someone obstinate, can feel that sense memory of if they would only listen to me, this would be better. And look, I am a minister. It is literally in my job description to believe that it is my job to make things better for people. Let's try a little exercise. Can you raise your hand if you are a teacher or have ever been an educating professional? Keep them raised. What about a nurse or a doctor or a healthcare professional? Social worker? You get the drift. Unitarian Universalists tend to draw strongly from the helping professions. We are people who want to make the world better for other people, and we are people who want to fix other people's problems. And we are a faith that believes we are called to act in the world, to fix all that is hurting. And I love this about us. Some of us come from traditions that tell us that there's nothing you can do, that you, lowly human, couldn't possibly do anything to change the world, that the problems are too big or the solution too mighty for you to have anything to do with it. And into that, we Unitarian Universalists step up and say, no, we are not just part of this independent web, we are responsible for the independent web. The world needs us. And man, right now the world really needs us. It is scary out there sometimes. There is so much to do. And it is our job, it is our faith commitment to say, we can be part of changing the world. And if we can't be part of changing the world, we must be part of changing the world. We can change the world. We can help fix the world, and we are called to do that. But sometimes we interpret that as being called to change and fix people in the world. Because that is what the other animals were trying to do. They were trying to fix Taylor. They believed that they knew what the problem was better than he did, and they knew him better than he did. They wanted him to not be as he was, but to be as they wanted him to be. Fixing people is a fool's errand, and this fool has been on that errand a lot. I so want to convince people of what I think is right for them. And often I have the best of intentions, like the parent or the teacher seeing what is right in front of them and saying, if only you could be a slightly different person than you are, you would be so much happier. Or I look at this hurting world and I think, if only all of you thought that the solution was exactly the same as I think it is, and would get your oars and we could row in exactly the same direction, wouldn't the world be a better place? Or sometimes just, I am right and you are wrong, and can you please get with the program? Has that ever worked for any of you? And it actually doesn't matter if you're right. And don't get me wrong, a lot of the time we are right. A lot of the time we see someone headed for the iceberg, and the iceberg is there. We are often right about the facts. What we are never right about is how someone else experiences them. We can never make someone else ready to change until they are ready. We can never make someone else hear us when they don't want to. And I want to put a caveat in here that I'm not talking about the kind of facts like 2 + 2 is 4 or not, depending on who you ask, or the world is round. Arguably, you're not going to change people's minds who believe that the world is flat, but that's sort of a different conversation. I'm talking about our beliefs about who we are and what we are called to do, and how we can live our best lives. We can never know someone better than they know themselves, as tempting as it is to think that we can. As much trouble as I'm sure all of us have gotten into trying to have the last word, trying to have maybe control over someone else because the world is so scary, because we feel like we can't control it. Maybe if we could just protect one person from making a mistake. That's doable when climate change feels outside of what we can affect. It is tempting, and it doesn't work, and it has gotten me, and I'm guessing a lot of you, in trouble. And so, sometimes when I am trying to live into my better self, I like to give myself steps for when the highest aspiration is not quite achievable. So some days I'm ready to be the change I want to see in the world, but most days I just try not to be the jerk I don't want to see in the world. It's a sermon for another day. So sometimes I try to let go of my belief that I can change someone else or fix something for them, our belief that we can change someone else. But sometimes I give myself this piece of advice. Aija, they don't need to know you're right. You can just be right in your own soul. At the end of the day, at the end of the argument, I don't need to convince them that I'm right. I can just be right. Am I usually? No, but that's enough. I can stop trying to push it. And something magical happens sometimes when you change your behavior. It starts to sneak into your spirit. When you sit there and say, I am not going to make an argument about why I am right, sometimes you stop paying attention to the argument about why you are right and start paying attention to the person in front of you. When you're not listening to make your point, Sometimes you listen for what actually is, for what the person is telling you, for the person they are, not the person you think they should be. Because in the end, the only thing we can fix about other people is how we relate to them, how we choose to be with them. And so, I would invite all of us helpers, all of us fixers, to let go of our belief that we can control other people. And if we can't let go of it, to pretend until our bodies let go of it for us. May it be so. Amen.